and gentlemen, here. You tell him for me. His trunks are kind of high, low blow here. Okay? Tell him obey my commands at all times. Shake hands, let's go, gentlemen.
Yield the right of way, one leg down, one side, the other. Out they come for the first round.
Very sexy trunk.
Yeah.
Too Sharp. Tom, as we take a look at Too Sharp Johnson, he comes into the ring with the number 2 WBC ranking, the number 3 ranking in the IBF. He last fought June the 10th, a 5th round knockout of Rafael Granillo at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. That was his 23rd consecutive victory. As we mentioned, Camacho, on the other hand, has not fought in 1 year since he lost to Michael Carbajal, a 12-round unanimous decision in Phoenix.
Fernando, in that fight over in Phoenix, number one, you got to want to fight pretty bad to take on Carbajal in his backyard. They say that this kid put up a good fight, but that it was no contest.
Well, he says that he couldn't get any other fight, so he chose to fight Camacho in his hometown. He didn't mind that, although he came out way short in that effort.
But he was there for the entire go, a gutsy performer, they say.
Dr. James Jenkin immediately alerted the judges that he was calling a headbutt on that clash of heads momentarily, and Camacho is cut here in the early going.
Got right over the right eye of Camacho, and blood trickling down the outside of the eye and onto his right cheek. The southpaw, of course, is Mark Too Sharp Johnson. And Rich, you alluded to the fact that in recent fights, Johnson tried to get in there and slug. He said yesterday when we had our little meeting with the fighters that if he feels he can't hurt this guy, he'll box him for 12 rounds. If he can hurt him and realizes that, he'll take him out.
And the thing is with Johnson, Tom, is really he is basically just as effective doing either.
And of course, trained by his father Ham, why they are quick to point out they'd be happy to fight Chiquita Gonzalez anywhere. And Johnson has even gone so far as to say, I'll fight him, and if I beat him, I'll give him back both the belts. I don't know that fight would come off, but I tell you, it would be a box office bonanza.
Camacho's doing a pretty nice job of boxing here in round number 1. Looks good. He mentioned he has been off for a while, but he said that he's just not going to give Mark Johnson a target.
The cut is above the right eye, and you can see blood flowing down on the cheek of Josue Camacho. 112 pounds for Camacho, 110.5 for Johnson.
You know, that bloodstream is pretty strong down the right side of the face, but Camacho doesn't seem to be letting it bother him whatsoever.
Well, he hadn't even rubbed at it as far as I've been able to see.
No change in expression, no change in style.
Let him go, quickly.
He's an inch taller than Johnson at 5'4", and he's a pound and a half heavier. Round 1 is in the books. Handful of seconds remaining. And there's the bell. Ken shoves him back in the corner, and the bell brings him out for round number 2.
For those of you just wondering about the extraordinarily long delay between rounds here in California, those of you around the country not familiar with the California rule, when a doctor comes in, as Dr. Robert Carnes did in another headbutt, they will stop the clock while the doctor looks at the cut, and then they will call time in, and then the corner man still has his full 60 seconds, at which time he can attend to the cut. It doesn't take away from the corner's opportunity to tend to that cut.
James Jenkin cautioning Camacho again about a possible headbutt. Camacho leans in and kind of jumps into the fray head first, so to speak. The southpaw, of course, is Too Sharp Johnson. Camacho lands a pretty solid jab. A lot of new in and out from the crowd here at the Great Western Forum. Well, we hope wherever you are watching tonight's championship fight, Acción Caliente, that you'll enjoy the bouts and that your favorite will do well. Nice chopping right hand by Johnson. Kind of jolted Camacho for a moment there, gentlemen.
They kind of looked off to the side, Tom. I think that one really got his attention. That was the first really hard, clean punch that Too Sharp landed.
Landed a pretty good shot to the body on the left side, too. Buried that right hand in there.
Mark looks like he wants to walk him down now, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, he nailed him with the right hand. Johnson is landing some pretty solid shots here, and has got Camacho up against the ropes and trying to hang on, but Johnson won't let him. Shoves him away and bangs away with that right hand. Misses with the right, and then the left. Working to the body against Camacho. Johnson is a very accomplished fighter, make no mistake about it. He's got a string of 23 victories in a row. And it's great for Mark that his fans in Washington, D.C. are looking in tonight and get a chance to see this young guy in action.
Some of the people booed when he was... when the announcer presented him here, that was the reason is that it's a totally partisan Mexican crowd.
Yes.
And he has beaten many Mexicans here.
Yes, in fact, he's, what is he, Rich? 10-0 against Mexican fighters, isn't he?
It kind of reminds you of the way Roger Mayweather came to Southern California years ago and made a living off of beating Mexican fighters for a while.
And yet,
into Chavez.
it must be pointed out that Johnson is a perfect gentleman in and out of the ring. He's never said anything derogatory about Mexican fighters. His record is just that. He is 10-0 against them.
He just beats them up.
That's right. But it's good of you to point that out, Fernando. It is predominantly a crowd that favors the Mexican or Hispanic fighter. And of course, when you've got Gonzalez on the card, you are going to draw big-time Hispanic fans. And well, they gave Johnson a little hoorah because he's made quite a living hammering out decisions against the Mexican or south of the border fighters.
Tom, I think Johnson has really set down on his punches in this
The ring for Camacho and James Jenkin. Dr. James Jenkin a bit short with the people. Get him out of there. And round number 3. And Johnson doing a little showboating now. Looks like, watch this one because I'm going to hit you with the other one. Waving one hand here and another one there.
Tom, I think that Johnson really took control in that round. And it was a very difficult round for Josue Camacho. And judging from the attitude that Johnson's bringing out here, I think he feels that he can end it soon. If he can walk through this guy and get him out of there.
Well, he pursues him with due diligence. Buries a left hand right at the midsection.
But remember, Michael Carvajal, who fought Camacho and who has considerable power himself, had to go the full distance with this man.
Yeah. Oh, there's no backup in this kid, Camacho. He is gutsy and tough, but he, we think, is overmatched here tonight. But of course, it's easy to assume that a guy as good as Johnson is just going to walk through everybody you put in front of him.
Although he wasn't active, he had been training, he claims, in the gym during all this time. In the last couple of days, he even sparred with Chiquita Gonzalez, and he claimed he did okay with him.
Yes. Well, Johnson is incessant, Rich. He's just right in Camacho's face. He's right on top of him. He's banging away.
I think Joe Frazier would have referred to this as smoke.
Yeah. Johnson has knocked out 17 of his 24 victims. Camacho doesn't have nearly that kind of punching power statistically. 6 knockouts and 15 wins.
It's been tremendous body work by Johnson.
Unbelievable.
He has really pummeled the body.
He has taken away, Mark Johnson has taken away one of Camacho's best tools, which was his mobility.
He's nailed him with a couple of left hands, too, while he bangs away with that right to the body. He's been all over the top of Camacho, and how tough can this guy be to take this many solid shots and still be there? The blood is trickling down again from that cut just above the right eye. It is in the eyelid. It's underneath the eyebrow, and the blood trickles down on the outside the corner and down the cheek.
No neck.
Johnson runs the risk, guys, of punching himself out here.
Except that we've seen him in fights, Tom, some of which have stretched into later rounds, like his unbelievable battle with Enrique Orozco, and he maintains an unbelievable pace.
Boy, look at those shots to the body and follows with a left hand right to the face. Nice uppercut, another one from the other side. Johnson very busy. Dr. James Jenkin so anxious to get after one another. There's the bell, and out they come for round 4. Scheduled for 12. Johnson looking at Camacho as if to say, you know, I've whacked you with just about everything in my arsenal.
Camacho got about a 90-second break between rounds there, which will help revive him, and it looks as though he's got those legs back that Fernando mentioned in the last round, and correctly so, that Johnson's body punching appeared to be sapping the strength and taking his legs away. He needs to be on the move some.
Johnson is the southpaw, in case you've just joined us. Josue Camacho, not related to Hector. In the corner, why Trinidad is, of course, related to Felix Trinidad.
Camacho was a WBO champion for a time. He won the title back in July of 1992 with a 6th-round KO of Eddie Vallejo and successfully defended against Paul Weir in February of 94. And Paul Weir is a guy who currently holds one of the versions of the championship. So Camacho has beaten very good people during the course of his career.
Or has been beaten by good people. Michael Carbajal being one. The most recent winner over Camacho. Kind of a quiet 4th round here.
Camacho said that he had watched only 1 round of Mark Johnson on tape. That's all he wanted to see. It's amazing as we talked to the fighters yesterday how many of them prefer not to watch their fighters on tape and study tapes prior to their meeting them in the ring.
Or so they would have you believe.
Well, that's like taking a very long trip without a map.
I would think. I always kind of look at that or take it with a grain of salt. I can't believe that you would go into something as serious as a 12-round championship fight and at least not have some knowledge of what the other guy does or likes to do or wants to do. And I think the only way you can do it is either come and watch him fight or watch him on tape.
It looks like Mark is really having fun there. Yelling, screaming, showboating.
He is bouncing up and down. It has been a round that has seen few punches thrown. Almost every one that Camacho throws, whether it lands or comes close to landing, why the rather partisan Hispanic crowd likes it. And as with most Hispanic crowds, they love action. They love it forehead to forehead. Get right in there and wail away, and the best guy picks up the marbles.
See, I think that the Hispanic crowd loves to hate Mark Johnson. They know he's a great fighter. They know he comes in to fight. In most cases, he is the one that is always pressuring for the action.
The guy you love to hate, he's working Camacho over pretty good. Dr. James Jen quickly stepped.
And as they went along,
they've done pretty good work with that cut, Rich.
Yes, it didn't bleed much in that last round.
No, and you can see that it is more than just a minor scrape. It's a pretty good-sized gash right up over the right eye of Camacho. We're in round number 5. Johnson has been pitching a shutout, I'm sure, on most of the scorecards. Fernando and Rich keep scorecards for us as we go along. We aren't going to show them to you, but you have them ahead on
I've got Johnson ahead 39-37. I gave Camacho round number 1 and Johnson all the rest.
Did you? How about you, Fernando?
I have a shutout.
Yeah, I have him 40-35.
I think once that cut appeared, though, Johnson realized that it might be a situation, Tom, the way that he picked it up in that 2nd round, like, hey, this one may go short and may go to the cards early. I want to establish dominance. And I think right in that 2nd round, he did establish the dominance and has carried it through since then.
Let me check my math for you, 40-36. Let me harken back. This Camacho is tough. He has taken some body shots that a lesser guy would have gone to his knees in reaction over. And I don't know but what Johnson may say to himself, this guy, I can't knock him out or can't put him away, so maybe I'll just box him. Although it looks as though he's intent on trying to knock him out if he can. But Camacho's a lot tougher than I had assumed he would be, Fernando.
He is tough. I think he proved that going up 12 against Carbajal.
And, he presents a difficult style to fight against. He will clutch, he will grab, he'll duck low the way that he just did, try to counter on you. He's not an easy guy to fight.
And he also comes head on every single time, so he's dangerous in that respect.
Well, I can judge on my scale how tough he is by the number of solid shots he has taken, both to the jaw and to the body from Mark Johnson. I mean, he has really been nailed. There's a good left hand that he got nailed by. Blood again on his face now. Nice uppercut by Johnson, who is just all over him. Left hand again. Dr. James Jen is very close. Every time he looks as though he might step in and want to stop this, while Camacho comes back with a couple of shots of his own.
Well, here's a dilemma there. Do you let a guy that still taking punches, but occasionally throws back some of his punches, or do you just keep on letting him take a beating?
shots to the body, right hand to the head thrown by Johnson, left hand to the body, and a right. Misses with an uppercut. Bangs away at Camacho. Seconds remain here in round number 5.
Over the corner.
Son, you're trying too hard. Interesting, Fernando, that Camacho's corner would say either throw some punches or we're going to throw the towel in. They've done nice work on the cut above the right eye of Camacho. It has not been, even though it is a good size cut, it has not been a big disturbing item in this fight. He's got puffiness under his right eye and again under his left eye.
I guess that's because Mark Johnson didn't allow that to just be the target. He's been really working up and down the body.
But I'll tell you, Camacho's a testimony as he stands there to conditioning because he has taken some unbelievably solid shots to the body.
Johnson has come out boxing in this round as opposed to walking his man down. And when he boxes, he will box flat-footed, but he'll give you a lot of side-to-side movement with the body, a lot of bending at the waist, and try to make you miss punches that way.
Every now and then they'll step on each other's foot. That is not unusual for a guy who's fighting a southpaw. It happens, I think, more often than when you get two orthodox fighters in there, both right-handed or both left-handed. Pretty good punch right to the midsection, a good left hand by Johnson.
And as the fight is progressing, you can see that the speed is taking a turn in favor of Mark Johnson again.
Johnson is a very versatile guy. I think if he had to, also, Tom, I mean, we're seeing him box here the way we normally do in terms of flat-footed boxing, but side-to-side movement, making his man miss. But he can move around the ring if he needs to as well. Show some lateral movement if he has to. He's so versatile, and he's dangerous in so many different facets of the game. And I think this is why a lot of champions aren't too excited about fighting.
No, I'm sure that he presents a most difficult problem for most of the guys in this division who watch him as he sits and waits for his chance at the big gonfalon bubble, as they say. Again, blood coming down the face of Camacho, but just a light trickle of it. Johnson has him against the ropes, pops him with a left-handed uppercut.
And Josue is not really answering back with too much now. They're walking around that ring. He's just not throwing many punches.
Crowd, as the round is coming to a close, the crowd may be a bit impatient with Mark Johnson.
Capture strength to the point. I mean, they're telling him what to do. The body just doesn't respond.
No.
Amen. This is round number 6, scheduled for 12. Neither man has been down.
Usually starts the first minute or so of the round off in fairly good shape, and then seems to run out of gas.
They keep on telling him to get out of the ropes, to fight him away from the ropes. But it doesn't matter where you fight him, he's still getting beaten to the punch.
Yes. And Johnson takes a few backward steps. He's after Camacho, no matter where the action is. Johnson, 6-7 punches. Almost all of them unanswered. Good left hand by Johnson, then a right hand. That's going to bring Dr. James Jenkin over to take another look at Camacho.
Johnson has changed his strategy this round, Tom. He's right on top of Camacho this round. He preferred fighting at long range in the last round, but this is part of the versatility that we see from Mark Johnson when he fights, and the ability to change strategies during the course of the fight. Not necessarily change strategies when he's behind or losing, because that rarely happens anyway, but just to confuse an opponent.
With regularity and great success, he will pound away to the body and then step back and throw that left hand. And he has found Camacho a very available target with that left hand.
I think this fight might be close to being over here, Tom. Camacho is weakening by the second.
But the thing is that he's still throwing punches.
Yes, he is.
It would be up to his corner if they feel that he doesn't have a chance anymore to start this fight.
He is indeed throwing punches, and just when it has looked as though the referee's going to step in, why Camacho throws a right hand and scores with it. I don't think they are that effective, but they are punches thrown and recorded. Look at those uppercuts thrown by Johnson. Right to the point of the chin.
And just being against the ropes like that, he has no leverage to really punch, to really have any power behind those punches.
Well, this is one tough customer. We've seen Johnson punch away at guys, and down they go, and he has hit this kid, especially the body shots. Boy, Johnson's like a dog with a bone. He just won't let you get away, will he? Huh? It's his, and that's it. Camacho's got no place to go. He tries to slide along the ropes. He won't let him off the ropes. He won't let him get out in the middle of the ring.
He's just taking a real beating, Tom. But there it is. He answers back with a quick 1-2. But
he does throw it occasionally.
Out they come for round number 8. It's scheduled for 12. The Penta flyweight title. Johnson is the champion. And a dripping wet Wayne Camacho, the challenger from Puerto Rico. What was up with the old gag you were talking about on one of our recent shows, Rich, where they dumped a bucket of ice down inside the guy's trousers? He never even blinked. They knew the fight was over.
That was Angelo Dundee with Jimmy Ellis when he fought Joe Frazier right after the 4th round. Dundee's pouring ice down his trunks. And Ellis was staring straight ahead, yeah. Like nothing ever happened. Dundee sees that and goes, hey, that's enough, ref. We're out of here.
Yeah, we're not coming out for the next round.
There's enough yelling in Camacho's corner, just no action on his part.
Threw a right hand that landed.
You know, it's an awful lot to expect a guy who has not fought for a year. You know, Camacho's world class. He's a WBO title holder, former WBO title holder. He did beat the people we enumerated for you earlier, but I mean, he hasn't fought for a year, inactive. I mean, here's a guy, Mark Too Sharp Johnson, who just knocked out Rafael Granillo in June. He knocked out Moro Baby Diaz in April. He knocked out Leon Salazar here at the Forum in February. He fights every 6 weeks to 2 months.
And has landed 4 or 5 unanswered shots. Solid punches. From thunderous overhand rights like that to body shots with the left hand, a chopping set of rights. I tell you, Camacho is one tough cookie. Dr. James Jenkins looks at him every time he separates the two. Punch it out! Punch it out!
Be hard for Camacho to finish this or maybe the next round because he really appears to be flat-footed and he's not even being much effective in those punches, not that he was to begin with.
Johnson has him in the corner above us.
You can hear that time Mark really grunted. He bent down Wardlow's right with those body punches. He really grunts.
And he nailed him with a left hand in the middle of the face too.
I thought Dr. James Jenkins was going to stop the fight there a few moments ago.
I think he is. He is stopping it. He is stopping it. And I tell you, Camacho's corner is very unhappy.
Why?
Very unhappy. They threw a towel in. They're screaming over there. Very unhappy.
Well, a lot of times corners are, very brave, Tom, but they're not in there taking those shots. And this kid,
see, the pounding that he was taking, several unanswered punches. Dr. James Jenkins, the last round was pretty close. He just closes in. Take a look at from another angle. And there just comes a time where a beating is just a beating. They should leave it at that. People are not happy. They're yelling out obscenities. When we see another angle, more of the same in this fight.
Johnson in that round, the 8th, as you watch again some of the action, really clubbing right hands in an effort to knock Camacho off his feet, or at least not
the time of 2 minutes 42 seconds in round number 8. Referee in charge stops the contest. The winner by way of knockout, he is still champion, Mark Johnson.
The crowd, something. I tell you, it looked like you were Joe Frazier smoking in that fight.
Well, he was a great fighter. He was very durable. He took a lot of shots. He dished out a lot. But I was in great shape, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to. This is my 10th title defense. After this, we're talking about vacating for a world title. I mean, I want to know what is there to do next. The first statement I want to get to is Chiquita Gonzalez. Talk about Mark Johnson making 108 pounds. I will make 108. I would love that fight. And when he come out for the main event, I ask him for that fight again, or even Michael Carbajal, Eric Griffin, any other U.S. Americans that was supposed to have been with the big names in boxing. I want all of them right now.
All right, Mark, let me ask you a little bit about this fight, however, though, with Jose Camacho. I think this is the best job of body punching I've ever seen you do in a fight. You really were going to the body.
Well, I'm trying to go to the body to slow him down. He was a great fighter. He was fast. He was a smart veteran, and he showed what a veteran had. He had guts. But as time was going on, me and my father and my brother in the corner knew that he was weighing down. Now, it looked to me as though you really took command in the second round. Was that because you felt like with the cut it may go short, you may have to go to the scorecards quick, you better establish dominance? Exactly. Well, I knew both of us had caught like 4 or 5 headbutts in the early part, but I thought that they was going to stop us, so I wanted to pick it up. And then again, I wanted to show all my fans of Washington, D.C., who stand by the TV, my mother, my Aunt Vanja, Chuck, Drew. I know Chuck's on way getting blasted, but we bring it on in, baby.
All right, let me ask Ham now, the guiding light behind your career here. Ham, what's next for this young man, and how did you feel about his performance tonight?
Well, you teased me about my squeaky voice. Well, a lot of things should have did, we didn't do, but it was a good win. It was a good workout for us. You can't knock out everybody. It was a good work for us. But not only that, I give my hats off to the other opponent. He's real tough. He's
very tough. There's no question about it. In fact, let's take a look at the end of the fight here, Mark, and maybe you can tell us what's going on here.
Oh, well, as you know, I was fighting left-handed. I switched up quite a bit of the time when I was catching him with a lot of overhand right. But as you seen, the left hand was working for me. Right there's where I switched up at. And the right body shot. And I was coming over top with it right there. And every time I come over top, I try to catch it with the left uppercut to bring his head back up. But it was a great win for me. Everybody in Washington, D.C., Mark Johnson is coming home. I want y'all to know I did this for everybody in Washington, Finley's Gym, and all my great fans. Everybody in the creek, in the cut, baby. Bye-bye.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Ham, appreciate it. Congratulations on the victory. Let's hope he gets that title shot soon. All right.